Anyone else feeling the need to truly savor the moment because it is the final day of Tour de Fleece? And now, before the comment section goes wild with "But Jente, there is Tour de France fun, you can spin through that as well." Yes, I could. But I won't. Or at least not on video. Because while I truly enjoy Tour de Fleece and I am really savoring these moments of the final day, I am also exhausted. Like, I feel I could sleep for a week. And I think that mostly has to do with the YouTube side of things more than the spinning side of things. Because every other day I have actually been editing up until 10 o'clock in the night. Like, after my day job, do another day job kind of thing. And this is not me complaining, don't get me wrong. I am just tired and I want to sleep for a week. But there will be this video which will be all about the final day of Tour de Fleece and then counting, measuring all the things of all the yarn that I've been spinning the last 3 weeks. My plan for today is to finish this 6th skein and then also start and hopefully finish a 7th. That is, I think, an attainable goal. Like on Monday the 21st I spun 3 skeins. I'm not going to do that today because I also just want to wet finish all my skeins and then just have a nice Sunday evening as well. Yeah. I'm not going to push too hard, but I'm going to push a little bit because 7 skeins would be great. Then I am at least sure, 100% sure that I can get that cardigan done. I might have been savoring this spin so much that I didn't film it all, and now we are at flying stage. Now for the 2nd year in a row, at the end of Tour de Fleece, I get the feeling that I'm just going to quit YouTube. And I am therefore immediately leaving to Nepal, where I intend to live as a goat. And this then brings me to a critical assessment of the question, do I want to do this full time if it is financially sustainable? And I'm in 2 minds about it. The reason why I want to go to Nepal and intend to live as a goat somewhere around the end of Tour de Fleece every year is because it starts feeling like something I have to do rather than something that is an expression of my own creativity. The editing feels like just putting clips after one another and not thinking creatively and critically about how could I present this in a better way. And that's because there is a time constraint. For a couple of years now, I have been doing Tour de Fleece with bi-weekly vlogs, which might be something I will scrutinize and maybe possibly change towards next year. Maybe it would be better to, instead of having like 7 over 8 30-minute vlogs, to have 4 one-hour vlogs. I don't know. We'll see that next year. And I have a fear that if I start doing this full-time, that would also become my full-time feeling about this. Like it's just placing scenes after one another and it becomes more of a slog and not a part of my creative expression. And both Abby Cox and the Welsh Viking have recently put out videos that it's actually a really bad idea to monetize your hobby. But also the TLDR of those videos was you have to have an other hobby outside of that. And I do have other hobbies outside of that. So in a way, it is also still, of course, the ultimate dream to be doing this full time, to be spinning full time, earning my money with just being a silly little chaos goblin on the internet. So I think if the moment arises, I might jump. I might still jump no matter the reservations I have towards it. Because another reservation I have is you have no co-workers. Like right now, at 10 o'clock, I have coffee at my job. And every now and then, one of my co-workers brings pie because it's their birthday. Well, actually, I live in Limburg, so I should say they bring vlaai, but you have so much informal conversations, and I really love my coworkers. They feel like family to me, and leaving them would be hard. But of course, again, being able to spin and film all day and earn my money's worth for it, who wouldn't do that? Like, who wouldn't? But those are, of course, doubts and wishes and dreams for the future, because I'm not there. Now, one of the ways, of course, to remedy that feeling of not having any coworkers is to do more collaborations with other creators, and I would love that. I am just really bad at thinking of video ideas that you could do with more than one person. However, I have been seriously joking about collaborations with Whimsy Knits, who is another Belgian YouTuber, because being in proximity geographically is helpful. And I've also been seriously joking with Be Queer Make Stuff, because they have relocated to the Netherlands, and that is also geographical proximity, but they still have to find permanent residence and get all of their crafting stuff to Europe. But I know that quite a few people in the comment section have their own YouTube channel. If you have like the most genius, amazing idea for a collaboration, please do not fear to contact me. Also, if you do not have a channel yourself, but do have great ideas for collaborations that aren't just conversations, please also do leave them in the comments. That would be a great help. I went on Christine's live stream a couple of months ago. That was so much fun. We are a community of like-minded people that are so passionate about these things, but we're mostly just doing it on our own island, while we have so much experience and knowledge and passion, once again, passion for these things that are amplified when you bring those people together. But it is, of course, a downside that I live in Belgium, which is a stupid country for these things. My friends who live about 30 to 40 kilometers more towards the west of the country say that there is an actual thunderstorm happening there. So I have moved us inside just as a cautionary measure. Also inside are the sherbet lemons. It is actually pretty funny and rather wild to look back upon my very first Tour de Fleece that I did here on the channel. Firstly, 5 to 8 minute vlogs. Who is she? But yeah, I was at that point like really still believing some kind of YouTube gurus that said that 7-minute videos are like the ideal length of a YouTube video. Well, clearly they have a different goal of what they want out of their YouTube videos. Yes, if you want to have a quick cash grab video, then 7 minutes indeed is ideal. But if you want to build actual community, I think you need more. I think you need longer videos, especially in this crafting niche where actually a lot of people will just craft while you are entertaining them in a video. Well, you want to give them the opportunity to craft for longer than 7 minutes, right? Like, that's not even one row on a knitted piece. Unless it's a sock. But I was, of course, only starting out. So I forgive myself entirely for being so silly. And there were not even 100 people watching. I know that I hit the first 100 subscribers in August that year. So not during Tour de Fleece, but in August. We're over 10,000 now, 3 years later. Yeah, that's just wild to think about, especially the amount of people that see me do shenanigans on a regular basis. Like this evening, I know that by the time that I go to bed, there will have been at least 1,000 pair of eyes that have seen me cry on a video. It's not a thing I thought I would say 3 years ago. But then I think we can circle back to what is your goal with your videos, and my goal is more to create community and to give a lot of people just some background noise while they're crafting that is cozy, that you can relate to, feels like talking to a friend, you know, that kind of stuff. That's my goal. And I feel that even for myself as a creator, I have created quite a safe space. I could have redone that entire section when I was feeling better, but I don't know if it would have been in that video then, because, as I said, I'm tired, and when I'm tired I get emotional. I could have redone that and shot it like completely blank-faced. But would that have been authentic? Would it have felt good to me? I don't know. But I feel that right now it's okay that it's in that video. I feel safe that it's in that video because the people that mostly watch my videos will not attack me for it. Right? If I have to say my favorite things about having a YouTube channel, it is of course one, being able to express myself creatively, both in the craft that I'm doing and also like the video that is also a craft that I'm doing, that I'm pouring my creativity in. And then secondly, it has created such a beautiful community with, for me, actual friendships. And that's amazing. I think also that I hear the thunder rumbling. So you might probably remember that in my Tour de Fleece preparation video, I told you that this fleece of zwartbles had like a crunchy soft part and a butter smooth part. Now this bat is actually almost entirely made out of that butter smooth part, and I find it so much more difficult to draft in a thicker long draw style. It really wants to stay together and does not come out of the bat evenly, and thus I have more slabs and more thin pieces. I thought I was going very consistent with my last two skeins, but this one is going to be a little less consistent again. yarn lasagna. This box is heavy, yo. Can't lift it. For my zwartbles, I don't plan on being very aggressive with it. Just a couple of, whoop, a shower for me, and that just should about do it. Yeah, we're both really wet now. Ah. Ah. Maybe this is another reason why I think spinning is a summer activity. So much fiber coming off of the zwartbles. Ah, hairy hand. But for the Shetland, I do want this to bloom. Like, it could be that I've spun it too thin for my plants. So if it blooms a little bit, you know, the chances that I will get engaged with my yarn just get a little bit higher. So I'm going to be aggressive with it and smack it against the chair, and it's called thwacking. Mr. Zwartbles, Mrs. Shetland, I see you've also brought the children Mars Blend, Thinnest Spin and Navo. I have gathered you all here to talk about the results of this year's Tour de Fleece. This Tour de Fleece was a success. Well, you must have seen it in the past 6 vlogs. In total, I have spun 2,343.8 meters of yarn. This is all that you saw just directly beside me. That is actual yarn, not the meters that went through my fingers. I will post that number on screen, but my maths are not good enough to do that just with a piece of paper. I need a calculator for that. But that is over 2 kilometers of actually usable yarn for my future projects, of which 930 meters are Shetland. Just to prove that I should not have been left in charge of the counting, I was entirely incorrect. How can I have 930 meters of Shetland if I have 4 skeins of over 400 meters? That just the math isn't mathing. No. Whatever numbers I have been saying in this past clip, disregard them, for I have 1,730 meters of Shetland, which makes the total number 3,143 meters and 80 centimeters. Look, I had to cross out my calculations because I was probably too tired. Like, how else would I see 4 4s and think, yep, 4 4s and a 1, that's 9. Anyway, it's 3 kilometers. I've spun 3 kilometers. I've spun 3 kilometers, not 2 and not nearly a half. It was already weird that I had spun 1.5 kilometers less than last year. Half a kilometer less than last year, yeah, that's entirely within range, I think. But 1.5 would have been weird. Anyway, now I'm going to work. Which I think is plenty for that sweater I'm planning to make. I have 1 kilometer, 132.4 meters of zwartbles, which is also plenty, I think, for a cardigan. And then I have apparently exactly 200 meters of Mars Blend, or that's what I have dubbed it in my spinning diary. It's the 3 skeins that I made from the bats that Mars gifted me. That is exactly 200 meters. I think those are going to be some great fingerless mittens. And then I have some other skeins like the 63 meters of the thinnest spin and the 18 meters of Navo Churro. All in all, I think with 16 skeins, I can say that I have deserved to be wearing a yellow jersey this tour. However, I am currently wearing polka dots, so I'm going to say I'm the mountain winner this year. The polka dot jersey, woo! I maybe didn't mention it all of the time during my vlogs, but my Tour de Fleece spins were also kind of challenges for me. I want to spin something during the entire Tour de Fleece that was not my default yarn. So for the Shetland, I purposefully went a bit thinner than my default yarn. I went for a sport weight instead of a DK. I might have gotten a little bit frustrated at the end that the Shetland just kept on giving. Like, it felt like there was coming no end to what looked like a very small fleece of Shetland. But now that I'm looking at the yarn and feeling the yarn, oh gosh, it is so soft. It's going to make the most amazing sweater. I am so happy with this yarn. I'm going to show you a shot in a minute of the yarn now that it's wet, because the color differences in it is just, it's even clearer now that it's wet. And then to contrast that, I also challenged myself to spin thicker. I wanted bulky weight yarn. I wanted consistent bulky weight yarn, and also spun in a long draw manner. I'm not that good at spinning thick yarns, but I think this Tour de Fleece was a good practice, and I think I have the trick now. Like, I'm very pleased with my, I think, last 4 skeins of that zwartbles. They are so neat and look so good, and I need to make sure that those go in the front of the cardigan that I'm planning to make, that all the people can see. Look at this gorgeous bulky handspun. Yeah, that was a lovely challenge. I like the spinning bulky more than the spinning thinner, just because it went quicker, I think, and during Tour de Fleece I want to see skeins appearing, and I have 7 zwartbles and only 4 Shetland. Maybe that's a little bit of a psychology of numbers thing, that I like the bulky more just because it went quicker and I have more. Yeah, also, if the Shetland just went a little bit faster, if I didn't spend 2 weeks on the Shetland, just imagine how much zwartbles I could have spun. I already have over 1 kilometer, but if I have just a couple of days more. Well, now I think I have a little less than 10 bats left over, which, if I spin that actually at my default rate, would be another sweater's worth. So maybe it's a good thing, and now I can just have 2 sweaters in different weights of zwartbles. Yeah, that's what we want actually, like all the zwartbles all the time. Or maybe I can make one that is like partially zwartbles but also partially blue tassel, and yes, you get the vision. Now, my 2 kilometers of yarn that amount to this many meters of actually yarn having passed through my fingers is absolutely nothing compared to the collective number of Team Chaos Goblin. I am completely overwhelmed by it. I cannot imagine such a collection of yarn together. Can you fathom that? I can't. I can't fathom how much yarn we spun collectively. How much yarn there wasn't in the world on July 4th, and how much yarn there is now in the world. Extra handspun yarn in the world. Boo! Anyway, as I told you in the beginning of this vlog, I'm actually a little bit exhausted. I am therefore also not mad that Tour de Fleece is ending. It will be weird, and I probably will have to spin a little bit during the day to finally grasp that I'm not spinning all of the time anymore. What's the word? There is an English word for it. Afkikvertjenselen. Withdrawal symptoms. See, I have been talking English for 3 weeks, but that doesn't mean I am good at English now. Anyway, I'm just going to sign off over here. If you like these kind of Irish shenanigans, then maybe you could like, comment or subscribe, but of course that is all up to you. And as for me, I will see you in the next video. However, I might take a week or 2 weeks off after Tour de Fleece, just to get my projects that I'm currently working on finished and not have too much pressure. So I'm going to take a little bit time off. If you want, you can just rewatch the entire Tour de Fleece playlist. And, well, bye!